Before we meet our guest, take a look at this. I'm Josh Langley, and I inspire kids right around the world with my Being You Is Enough series of books, my school talks, and my online program, Inspiring Kids. Now, I want to inspire your kid to find their inner brave and their inner courage to accept themselves as they are and give them a set of tools and a set of skills to be their best selves. Because I know that when you reduce all the resistance, all that negative self-talk, all that hate, all that dislike about yourself because you feel different, when you suddenly are able to let go of that, that energy is then transformed into something magical and powerful. So let me inspire your child. Click below to claim your kid's spot in the Inspiring Kids program. Should we just get going? So, are you ready?
Yes.
Are you ready, Gary? Okay, are you ready? Okay, you ready?
I thought it was on the phone, so Josh really kindly gave me some extra time to wash my hair.
Are you ready?
Yep, ready as I'll ever be.
I'm ready. Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's do it.
Developmental Language Disorder. What is it? How does it affect kids? How does it affect families? Is it curable? What happens? Well, we're going to talk to Sharon Giltrow. Now, Sharon works with kids with developmental language disorder, and we're going to find out everything we need to know. Also, Sharon is a kids author, and she's got a fantastic new book coming out in April, which we shall discuss. So, get settled in, cup of coffee, glass of wine, whatever it's going to be. Let's get to meet Sharon Giltrow and learn about developmental language disorder. Sharon Giltrow, thank you very much for coming on my show. How are you going?
Very well, thank you. Yes, and thank you for having me. It's a great privilege to be asked.
We are going to talk about developmental language disorder. Okay.
Yes.
So let's firstly, what actually is it?
Well, they call it a condition where children have difficulty talking or understanding language, and adults. I mean, it's a condition that doesn't go away. So if you have it as a child, you're also going to have it as an adult. So it's where children don't develop language naturally for no obvious reasons, like it's not to do with hearing loss or English as a second language. It's developing their own language. So it could be, Chinese, it could be so any language that their home language, they don't develop that as well. It affects their learning and their academic performance and their self-esteem, and can affect the whole family, obviously.
So what does it actually show up like? What does it look like? Is it just an inability to comprehend?
So it can either be a difficulty talking and or understanding language. So it could look like if you've got a 2-year-old that's not yet saying many first words or putting a sentence together, and you just, as a parent, you notice when your child is not developing along the developmental continuum for language. So, and that often get frustrated, and that can have behavioural consequences. Because as you can imagine, if you can't make yourself understood, or if you can't understand the world, you're going to get really frustrated. So a lot of it is the parents would pick it up, or even the extended family might pick it up, that the language isn't developing for whatever reason.
What sort of age do you think that it really does show up? Yeah, I think you said the age of 2, but is it a common age, or is it a bit later?
Well, you'd probably be a little bit worried if your child by the age of 2 wasn't saying any first words, like nouns, like naming things is the first thing that a child will do. And often my daughter at 9 months old, she would say, "What's that?" And she would she'd be trying to communicate. So children do communicate very early to their parents. I mean, that's a basic of human development, is wanting to communicate to each other. So when that doesn't happen, it kind of, you can sort of see it.
Yeah, okay. So for a parent, they just go, okay, well, something's wrong. So what's the first port of call? Where do they go? Is it easily diagnosed by the medical
It
profession?
is. It is once you go to a speech therapist or a language therapist, and they've got
Mm,
the tools to diagnose DLD,
mm,
or a pediatrician. So yeah, or even your GP. You'd probably start with your GP and just
yeah.
raise your concerns. I think parents are often underestimated about what they know about their children, and you have to be an advocate for your child and just sort of then there's something there. You just have to keep going and going and trying to
Mm.
get some answers, basically.
Is there a little bit of reluctance or a little bit of brushing off from like say GPs or whatever when a parent does bring their child in and go, I think there's something wrong? What?
Yeah, there could. I mean, that could be a possibility, and also the health nurses should also pick it up in their
Mm,
checks, because I think children get checks right up to the age of 4. So yeah, you just have to keep going and going and just
mm.
because it's for your child.
Yeah, exactly. Go, look, this is my child. There's something wrong. I want to come on, help me.
Yes,
That sort of thing. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
that's it. Yeah,
Okay.
because the earlier that it can be diagnosed, the better
Yeah.
for the children,
Now
obviously.
you mentioned before that that can lead to the child not being able to express themselves or whatever can lead to frustration, and then you said
Yes,
behavioural issues. Is it a
yes.
situation where sometimes the behavioural issues are picked up and then they're dealt with without actually acknowledging what could be leading up to it and what be causing that?
Well, that would be a red flag.
Yeah.
I would think that the behavioural concerns, and that you might go to a paediatrician, and that's when
Mm,
you'd say your child's having these issues and these concerns, and then hopefully they would look further into what's
yeah.
causing it, because every behaviour is caused by something.
There's something
Um,
exactly. It's not
there's-
just this is the bad behavior child. Let's medicate them or whatever. You got to look at what's
that's
causing it.
right.
Yeah. So
That's right. And
in the,
then
I was going to say in the classroom, what does it look like for you? How do you work with these kids to help them?
so after they've been diagnosed by a speech therapist, then they get a referral. They can get a referral to a language development centre,
Mm,
and there's a lot around Perth. We're very lucky in Perth to have that service from the education department. It's a
mm,
government service, so I know other states don't have as good a service as that for
yeah.
these children. So then they would come to us, hopefully in kindy. So the earlier intervention is better. So they'd come to us in kindy. We have small classes.
Yeah.
So up to kindy is about 10 to 12. Year one's about up to 15. So they come to us, and we're specialist teachers, and we also we have speech therapists that work closely with us, and they're employed by the education department. So it runs like any kindy. They come in, they unpack their bag,
Yeah.
but they just need a lot more scaffolding to do a lot of
Mm,
the things and to understand what they need to do. And there's always separation, well, not always, but there can be
yeah.
separation anxiety, and
Mm,
sometimes they're not. We have to teach them to be independently packing their bags, and so every part of the day is learning and scaffolded.
yeah.
And then they come in, have a little play. Then we do like a math session for any kindy,
Mm,
pre-primary year one, do a math session, and then we break off into small groups. So a lot of their learning is done in small groups. So we have the teacher and the EA, or teacher and a speech therapist, and the activities are language focused.
yeah. Yeah.
So we'd have a small group of 5 or 6 children learning with us. It could be a semantic activity, a phonological awareness, phonics activity,
Mhm, mhm.
comprehension. So it's all the things that you need
So
for
is it a
language.
situation where they can't? It's the comprehension. I mean, they can hear all right, but it's just making sense of the
Yeah,
language
so that's
itself.
exactly right. So some of our children also have additional needs. Like some of them will have hearing losses as well, so that
Mm,
the input is harder for them as well. But so it's just the message is coming in, and then between where it comes in and the brain, there's something that causes it to not be understood, and same from the brain to the mouth, it's something that causes it not to be able to express what they want to say.
So what
so we just
sorry
we just have strategies to help them.
What sort of success stories do you see? What sort of, do you see lots of little breakthroughs and little moments where you go, wow, that's how that works?
Definitely. And it's especially in pre-primary and year 1, where the children have already been to their mainstream kindy, and they might come to us and they've already had sort of a bad experience of being at school, like they've not been successful. So they come to us, and our programs, you can see that our programs really work for them. And then, you know, they calm, and that they're calmer, and they're able to learn in a safe environment when they come to us. So it's probably that's really rewarding, and you go, yes, this is working for the children with developmental language disorder. This is why we do it. So that's amazing. And then you get emails back from people that have gone to university, and they've come to us for 3 years and they thank us. And so and the parents are very appreciative, because they can see it at home as well.
I was going to say that, obviously, because they're like original diagnosis, parents could go, oh, this is the worst thing on the planet, but it actually the kids do learn skills, they learn techniques, and they can go on to be successful.
Yeah, and that's what we often find in like the kindy. Some of the parents are still grieving about the diagnosis because it's not what they were expecting, or so they got to go through that as well, all those stages of grieving. And when they accept that the child has this condition, then you can all work together to let the child achieve what they can.
I love that. It is that power of just acceptance, isn't it? Okay, this is it.
Yes.
What can we do? How can we all come together as a parent, as yourself, as the whole team, the school team, everything, to make that child feel as comfortable as they can, and the learning as easy as comfortable as they can, because that's the most important thing.
Because that's what we've seen. A lot of them, they're successful with us because we break down everything. We still follow the WA curriculum. They still have to learn their 2D shapes, describe it. We break it down into very specific goals, so they can be successlook in steps to achieving the bigger goal.
Oh, that's fantastic. So what, look, I know in the early part we mentioned that you would say that a parent would actually notice something. So if I've got a parent here who's watching this and they're thinking, something's not quite right, what's the first step really? What should they do?
So what they should do is to go see a speech therapist and a speech pathologist as soon as they can. And I'm pretty sure they probably need a GP referral for that.
Oh, okay.
So there's public speech therapists and there's also private, but at home you can also, the parent is the first resource really. So I suppose once you accept it, then you can sort of do things at home that you're probably doing anyway, like cooking and just things that we do naturally, hopefully naturally as parents, like go for walks through around the neighborhood, and just sort of naming, just talking with your child and naming things, and just sort of maybe breaking it down a little bit. And if you're giving instructions, just making them a little bit simpler, like if you want them to get their shoes, just say, please go get your shoes. Don't say, please go get your shoes and your hat and your bag and you have your drink bottle. And because just saying all that in one sentence is just too much.
Okay.
So because a lot of, as parents, we do a lot of instructions as well around the home, but just sort of, so that's what you can sort of do at the home front.
Just keep it really simple, so it's not, you're not preloading with all this information.
That's right. And just keep the language going. Story. Well, it comes to what we're doing. Stories. Children love books, so that's, and at the where I work at the LDC, we do a lot of books is what we base a lot of our programs on, and just, reading stories. I try and read at least 2 stories every time I'm in a class, and just sort of, because that's what everything you need is in a book, really.
You know what, Sharon, perfect segue. I love that, because you love kids, you love working with the kids, and you love the books, and your children's author as well. Now, you've got a new book coming out in, I think it's April, through EK Books.
April, yes.
And it's, let me get it right, Get Ready Mama.
That's right. I just happen to have it here. This is the only copy I've got at the moment.
Woohoo! So, well, congratulations for when it comes out. Now, what is Get Ready Mama about?
Well, Get Ready Mama is, it's about parenting, because that's, parenting of children is what I'm about. So it's about getting this mum here ready for the day.
Now, is mum a happy mum, or?
Mum is a happy mum, but she's not, doesn't quite want to get out of bed yet. But it's time, it's 7 o'clock and she has to get out of bed. The child's come into her room and, got her clothes ready, and it's time to get out of bed. I kind of base this on my daughter, because she's a bit reluctant to get out of bed. So it's based on all reluctant risers out there.
Oh, so you sort
just want 5 more minutes.
You reverse the roles. You've obviously.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So it's a role reversal. So the child is getting the mum ready for the day. So it's about all the things that parents have to do to get their child ready for the day and out the door. And I've had a bit of a sneak peek. Thank you, Sharon, for letting me have it. And I just love the bit. There's a little bit where the little girl the mum comes back downstairs with her little glittery shoes on. Yes, her sparkly dance. And the daughter goes, "You can't wear them." And it's like, I think every parent, every mum can look at that and go, "Oh, that's so true." That's right. And it's quite far into the story. So the child's just gone, okay, well, you're dressed, you've had breakfast, you can just wear your sparkly dance shoes. It's like picking your battles. I'm not gonna make you go back up the stairs and get changed again. And obviously there's the twist at the end, which is the big reveal. There is a twist. Yes, we won't reveal that. We won't do the big reveal. So that was inspired, as you said, by your own daughter, who takes a while to get out of bed. Yes, and get ready for the day, like just nagging. She's a teenager now, but it's also inspired by parents when they come to school, and you can see that they're a bit harassed, a bit hassled. Like you can see that they've had a difficult morning. Sometimes just getting your child to school is the hardest thing in the day. Like I've had parents say, like one child last year came without shoes on, like the shoes were in his bag, and she just said, "I couldn't." And I'm like, "That's okay, he's here, we'll get the shoes on." So it's just, and we've all done it. We've all said, get out of your pajamas. If you're not out of your pajamas, you're going to go to school in your pajamas. And that has happened sometimes. and as I saw something on Facebook today, it was like, pick your battles. As you said, pick your battles, and just, so it's not worth getting too stressed over if they go to school in the pajamas with no shoes on, or that's it, or your hair's not brushed, or and then they're not homeless or been neglected. It's just it's just there's this, and some parents have this battle constantly every day, and it's just it's nothing. It's life. It's just the way it is. Now we're going to enter the quick fire round. Oh, yes. Okay, are you ready for this one? So what's your favorite self-care thing to do? I think if I have some time, it would be going for a walk with my dog, or reading a book, an adult book. I like to read. I read, just something nice and quiet. That's okay. I like that. Spending peaceful time. Okay. What is your favorite piece of advice that you've heard? As an author, or as anything? It could be anything. As anything. Oh, okay. Favorite. My mum used to just say, like when I was studying or at school, she would say, "Just do your best." She's happy if she knows that I've done my best. Yep. And to not just put too much pressure on yourself. Just as long as you know that you've done your best in your heart. Okay. What lights you up then, Sharon? Well, I think teaching and writing and stories books. Yeah, and writing.
You've got the perfect job. You get to write books, you get to read stories, you get to teach, you get to see these wonderful kids flourish and help them flourish. I think that's amazing. Sharon Giltrow, thank you so much for being with us. Now, when April, what's any particular date in April?
April 6th in Australia and April 12th in America. Well, that's what it says on Amazon. So,
awesome.
But I am having a book launch April 30th at the Literature Centre in Fremantle.
Fantastic. So now I'm assuming everyone can get all your information about the books and about you at your website.
Yes.
I'll just put down here. Okay. Ding, 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 ding.
Okay.
And if anyone wants to find out any information about developmental language disorder, you hear me having to think when I try and say that. They thought they could have actually made it sound DLD. Okay.
You DLD. Yes, DLD. That's it.
Now, where can they go to find? They can just Google DLD, developmental language disorder.
There's a good website. It's called Raising Awareness of Developmental Language Disorder. So it's RADLD. Yeah.
Okay. I'll put that in the thing there.
Yeah. So that's a good one.
Excellent.
For parents.
Sharon, thank you so much for spending time with me.
Thank you.